Let's figure this out.
There was a time in my life when I was angry, bitter, and deeply unhappy.
Okay, yeah. Got us. You got me.
This is like even the Christian thing, which is just all like atheists are only atheists because they're angry and bitter at God or something like this. This is like always conservative Christian worldview is always like it can't be that like you're justified in your anger or anything like this. It's just like your anger is so overwhelming you can't see reality for what it truly is.
I wanted to lash out at the whole fascist system, the greedy, heartless power structure that didn't care about me or the rest of society's innocent victims.
Fuck the system. Yeah. All right.
System that had
Let's go
robbed,
burn down a
beaten,
bank.
and stolen from my ancestors. The whole corrupt edifice deserved to be brought down, reduced to rubble.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
That's how this bit has to end. I used to be unhappy, angry, and bitter. I still am, but I'm used to it. But I used to too. Well, I mean, like, you have to be somewhat angry enough to go on this thing to make a video now for the opposite side. Like, you're angry at what you used to be.
I was a perfect recruit for Antifa, the left-wing group which claims to fight against fascism. And so, I became a member. Now,
I was the perfect recruit? That's like Antifa.
Where is your membership card?
Antifa scouts are roaming the narrative, are like roaming the neighborhood, looking for angry, bitter people at the system, and like, have you thought about joining Antifa?
Oh damn, they haven't let you be a recruiter yet?
No.
Okay. Interesting.
Now I was one of those who had the guts to fight against the fascists who were exploiting disadvantaged people. I wasn't a card-carrying
membership.
It's fucking graphic.
Wait, there was card carrying. Hell yeah.
Fighting fascists who are exploiting anti-fascist action. Gabriel.
Okay, he said something about being a card carrying member. Somebody sold him something so that he could make this video.
The card carryingness?
I became a member. Now I was one of those who had the guts to fight against the fascists who were exploiting disadvantaged people. I wasn't a card-carrying anti-fascist. There's no such thing as an official Antifa membership.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there we go. There we go. But the fact that they made that lanyard and that bit is hilarious. Jesus Christ. Ryan Armstrong posted antifa.com/membership.
Yeah. I still have
I hope I'm gonna put it over here, Ryan, first to see if I'm sure you would not have sent something lewd to distort the stream. Oh, it's loading. It's not even a real site. You lied to me, Ryan. I wanted to become a member. Sorry, folks. No 20% off soy drinks with your Antifa discount. Oh my god. I was hoping that was a site. I was so hoping it would be a site.
But I was ready at a moment's notice to slip on the black mask and march in what Antifa calls the Black Bloc,
yeah,
a cadre of other black-clad Antifa members to taunt police and destroy property.
Hell yeah.
Antifa stands for anti-fascist, but that's purposely deceptive. For one thing, the very name is calibrated so that anyone who dares to criticize the group or its tactics can be labeled fascist.
Like, the thing that's like frustrating is like anti-fascism has been around since there's been fascism, right? So it's like it wasn't created to be what they perceive of now as being duplicitous. It was conceived of then because they were actually fighting fascists. That's why the word still hangs around. I mean, I still disagree with him about it today because he's going to argue that, like, well, I'm imagining he's probably going to go in the direction that the Antifa is the real fascist or something like that. They always go that route, but like, it's not like those people that you think are the real fascists now, or whatever shit that he wants to do, they're borrowing this term because they perceive themselves in that long lineage of anti-fascism.
This allows Antifa to justify violence against all who dare stand up or speak out against them. A few groups boldly
And here's the thing: is like Antifa isn't like standing up against anyone who's like specifically against them. Anti-fascists usually go. I have my webcam frozen. Although that was a long period of time before frozen. Nice. Anti-fascists usually aren't like specific. Like, we're fighting you because you're against us. It's usually they're fighting against something in particular, probably fascism, but
Yeah, probably like explicit and out fascists. Like,
Antifa? Is that like a Toronto, like saying Toronto? Toronto? I can't believe this video was made in March 2021.
Yeah,
I know.
Antifa.
Like, this is like only a month old.
Toronto.
See, it comes with more like a CH sound, like Toronto.
declare themselves
Wait.
Antifa.
Wait,
Where is Town Trading? Where are you from? What area of Canada?
is Devin even from Canada? I don't know where they're from. I haven't asked. We're not doxing Devin on stream here. Unless they want to.
Oh, like,
Boldly declare
Southern
them-
Ontario or like GTA, like whatever. Halifax or fucking Vancouver.
All right, I'm hitting play.
boldly declare themselves Antifa, like Rose City Antifa in Portland. But most don't, preferring to
Yeah.
avoid the negative publicity. That's part of Antifa's appeal and strength. It's hard to pin down. There is no identifiable leader. To be part of Antifa, you must adopt two basic principles. First, you have to have
So, so yes, one of Antifa's strength is that there is no like a leader. But again, like I want to try to like analyze this like pretty clearly. Like, the reason why there's no leader is because like Antifa is not itself like an ideology. It's made up of a whole bunch of people from all kinds of different backgrounds and political ideologies. The sole thing that unites Antifa is being against the fascists, right? So when I've done my own activism that I would call anti-fascist activism, so like when we've trying to think of the word, when we've disrupted, for example, Pegida locally. So Pegida is like people against the Islamization of the West, and they're a fascist far right group. They would do things in our local like city, and we would bang pots and pans to like drown out their sound. And I know some of the people that showed up to that were like card carrying members of the Communist Party of Canada. Other people were like anarchist, left wing type people. Some were like liberals. And we all did the work, and I would all say that we were all Antifa, because we were against, even though we completely disagreed with each other politically in various ways, obviously. We all agreed that those racist assholes over there are a problem, right? So it's like it's not like a specific thing organized by Antifa to purposefully be like hard to beat. It's just the nature of what Antifa is. It's like all coming together and realizing that like as a group, the only thing we have in common is them bad. Them bad.
Yeah.
Which is how you get like some solidarity on some causes, you know? We know that like to put certain differences aside in this one instance to fight the shit over there, you know?
Yeah.
I hope that chat's still going after this person.
Yeah, no, sorry. That's
if-
kind of why I've been less active in speaking, is because I'm just being like,
If you're responding to the video stuff, try to do a highlight tweet so I can have that jump out at me. As opposed to having to try to read this whole thing. I know what's a response to this person that's just typical conservative, just asking questions.
leader. To be part of Antifa, you must adopt two basic.
I'm so interested in what the two principles are too, as if there's like, you know, there's some gatekeeper for Antifa that is gonna like check off, like, do you have this? And then like allows you.
yeah, the recruiters. That's our job. What I get paid the big bucks for.
That's the other thing. Whenever we did like what I would describe as anti-fascist work locally, again, there was like it was a loose group of people. Like there was no like. It's not like we had meetings all together. We just all were like, "Hey, you don't like fascists? Yeah, I don't like fascists either." And then we would all go. It's not.
No, that's because you weren't a card-carrying member, just
Oh,
like
okay.
this guy.
Shit.
And someday you'll be on Prager University as well, just like this guy.
Prager.
Basic principles. First, you have to have the mentality of an anti-fascist. And second,
that is not a clear principle. Can I have more specificity on what the mentality is?
you must be willing to enforce that mentality.
What?
You must be opposed to fascism, and then you must also be willing to oppose fascism.
I know
Yep.
anti-fascists that run like soup kitchen shit. Like, I mean, I guess that's like with each spoonful of soup, they're enforcing anti-fascism. Let's see what
to adopt an anti-fascist mentality means to reject everything that is fascism. But that begs the question, what is fascism?
Okay.
Okay, oh, we get to see how Prager U defines fascism.
All right.
Let's get into something that is totally, yeah.
I mean,
academically coherent concept.
Devin's like, I don't understand the enforcement either. Like, I mean, I guess like you enforce your anti-fascism by like in small ways too. Like, yeah, I don't know. Enforce is a very weird way of putting it.
While most Americans associate fascism with Nazi Germany or modern dictatorial states like Venezuela.
Ooh.
What?
Uh-huh.
What?
Where are we getting this one from?
What?
Mr.
What?
Denny's?
Yeah, what do you want is... Are you trying to figure out if he's Venezuelan?
No. Dennis Prager, I was saying Denny.
Gabriel Nadales. I want to look up this person when we're done. Venezuela? Who thinks of Venezuela as fascist? I've never heard that before. I've heard them called communist, which isn't true, but like... Yeah, all right.
Modern dictatorial states like Venezuela, China, and North Korea, to Antifa.
I gotta go back.
Sorry, go back a little.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Is fascism. While most Americans associate fascism with Nazi Germany or modern dictatorial states like Venezuela, China, and North Korea.
All three of those are usually considered communist by their standards. I don't know I've never heard anyone to be like, that is super freaking weird.
I mean, like they think that state socialism and fascism are the same, obviously, and like
I have my criticisms.
Venezuela is not even state
but,
socialism.
yeah. I have my criticisms of all three, but they've never been like I'm critical of them because they're fascist. I've never heard that before. That is super weird.
To Antifa, fascism means Judeo-Christian values and capitalism.
See, again, like the linking of it's the Bible and it's Judeo-Christian. It's like, maybe different things, Judaism and Christianity.
That's not what fascism is.
Yes.
That
Nazi Germany, known for its Judeo-Christian values.
And there's liberal states have capitalism, and there's gonna be people out there that are gonna say, well, no matter what, capitalism is fascist. But I disagree with that. I think there's a certain way capitalism feeds into fascism, and you can make that argument and all that fun stuff. But what? It's so silly. How do you even respond to this? I don't know a single Antifa person where we were out there and we looked at each other's eyes and just went, we're out here, right? Because we're fighting Judeo-Christian values and capitalism, right? I mean, I know Christian anti-fascists. I know Jewish anti-fascists. What the hell is this shit? And again, I know liberal anti-fascists who like capitalism even though I don't. Jesus.
As an Antifa group said on its Twitter account in 2018, the fight against fascism is only won when the capitalist system is smashed.
I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Otherwise, fascism will at some point be resurgent. That's.
I mean, this
how
is where
fascism
like
works.
the gatekeeping thing gets complicated. Like, the only subtlety. I mean, I agree with this statement, but what I'm saying is there could be people who do anti-fascist work without agreeing to the statement. Does that make sense? Even though I would say that they're not taking their anti-fascism far enough, you know?
Can you let this tweet play out to see if it fills out what supposed Antifa group this is that has the Twitter at Antifa?
No, it's at Antifa.
A real Twitter account?
I don't think so.
This is a fake. Like, I think this is just a fake tweet that they made up.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, like, I agree with it, and I can imagine an Antifa group tweeting this out. That wouldn't surprise me. Or, like, a person doing Antifa stuff on Twitter. That wouldn't surprise me, you know?
And they mean smashed. Breaking windows, tearing down statues, throwing Molotov cocktails, looting and burning businesses, and harassing and physically.
I love that it all says Portland, Oregon.
Yeah. That's where the official Antifa headquarters is. They found us.
Oh, Nick muted the person. Oh.
Yeah. No, it's been a ongoing drama.
Assaulting people. We saw it all in the summer of 2020 in Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis, and other cities. Antifa
Was Minneapolis Antifa? Or might there have been some other reason there was civil unrest in Minneapolis?
No, it was just Antifa.
Like, I would agree there's probably some overlap between BLM and Antifa.
BLM is just a subchapter of Antifa. We amalgamated a few years ago.
And I agree, the police work to uphold the fascist state, you know, and I don't like police and all that fun stuff. But that doesn't mean that the people protesting the police in Minneapolis were identifying themselves as anti-fascist. They were probably more just pissed off at the police, which just happens to be something that the anti-fascists are pissed off at too. Mm-hmm. For similar reasons, but you know, this doesn't have to be ideologically thought out through every individual protester in these movements. You know?
Antifa is not solely responsible for all left-wing political violence. Not every attack by left-wing radicals is an Antifa attack. But Antifa exemplifies the worst of this dangerous ideology, which is becoming bolder and more prevalent in American society.
I wish.
Joining Antifa was the worst decision of my life.
Why? Oh my god.
He's just mad that he didn't get the membership card.
Good night, chat. Oh my god. I don't even understand. It was the worst decision of my life. Well then, this person's suffering for some kind of trauma.
How did I get out of it?
Let's find out what.
Like anyone who gets out of something.
Well, he's not going to explain. Now he's just telling how he got out of it.
Oh,
bad.
Yeah.
I encountered
That's what I wanna
something
know.
good. The very system that I had sought to destroy, friends, people who turned out to be my real friends, pointed me to challenging thinkers like Milton Friedman.
Okay, I need to see the thinkers. Come on.
Thomas Sowell, and Ben Shapiro.
Oh my god.
I think my brain has broken. I think my brain has legitimately broke. How? Oh my god, Ben Shapiro! Why would you? Don't get me wrong, Milton Friedman and Thomas Sowell. Both terrible, but Ben Shapiro? At least Thomas Sowell and Milton Friedman have some vague sense of academic credentials, you know what I mean? They're completely
Yeah.
fucking wrong. But Ben Shapiro? Holy shit. What happened to this person? What happened? Imagine like your friends being like, "We know you're a card-carrying member of Antifa, but have you heard the good word of Ben Shapiro?"
No, they were like, haha, you haven't gotten your card for Ben Shapiro but yet.
At least Ben
You
Shapiro
have to watch Ben
offers
Shapiro
mugs.
as punishment.
God damn it. Milton Friedman. God damn. I always like I had a joke with Thomas Sowell as well, because there was a while where I was like baiting libertarians online, and like after whenever you would talk about like racial stuff with libertarians, eventually they'll throw out Thomas Sowell. Like there can't be racism in America because look at Thomas Sowell and what Thomas Sowell has said, and he becomes like the thing they prop up. And so I created a meme that I used to always spam to them when they would do this, which was one of the people from the Book of Mormon musical holding like a Bible, but instead of, or like the Mormon Bible, but instead of that, I put in one of Thomas Sowell's books and then like captioned it like, "Have you heard of the good word of Sowell?" Because it was like every single time it would always come back to Sowell, always.
I don't know him, honestly.
It's everything that you've heard already. There's nothing new here. He just becomes,
Yeah.
because he's black, he serves the function of I can't be racist. Thomas Sowell agrees with me. That's the function he serves. But he's basically just a libertarian. You know, he's another one of those who believes that the reason why black people are disproportionately targeted is because they're more likely to commit crimes because of black culture and stuff like that. Yep.
And eventually, organizations like the Leadership Institute and Prager U. What they
Oh my god, I don't even know what the hell is the Leadership Institute.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that strikes me as. Let me Google that Leadership Institute. I mean, we know what Prager U is.
Okay.
We're already here.
You do that. I'm gonna go pee then. I'll be right back.
The Leadership Institute. Here we go. Let's pull this up here. The Leadership Institute is a 501c3 nonprofit organization located in Arlington, Virginia that teaches political technology. Ugh. The institute was founded in 1979 by conservative activist Morton Blackwell. Okay. Its mission is to increase the number and effectiveness of conservative activists. Oh, okay. Jesus. The Leadership Institute offers 44 types of training seminars at its Arlington headquarters around the United States and occasionally in foreign countries. In 2014, the Institute trained 18,182. Jeez. Since its 1979 founding, the Leadership Institute has trained more than 161,000 students. Alumni include Grover Norquist, okay, gross. Ralph Reed, I'm not even sure who that one is. Jeff Gannon, yeah, I'm not sure who that is either. Senator Mitch McConnell and Mike Pence, James O'Keefe. Okay, yeah, sure. James O'Keefe. You know, I probably should have played the James O'Keefe song for all the click views, you know? I base my opinion of Candace Owens on Dave Chappelle's stand-up routines. Not joking. Trust in Dave. Bet it's a CIA. Any takers? What, you think Candace Owens is a CIA? Jody hasn't added any bots yet, so bully him on Twitter until he gets one. What do you want bots for? Who's asking me for bots? As much as I do not agree with all three, what do these people do not like? I know, like Ben Shapiro out of like the three is just such a weird friggin' thing. Yes, gambling with fake currency is good and cool. All right.
You. What they said.
I should wait for Vienna. I'm not sure what. So Mushroom Capital in chat is Vienna. Vienna said that Jody hasn't added bots yet. So what? Who wanted bots for things? What did you want from me, people? Oh, you bet the Leadership Institute was the CIA. Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. I mean, I wouldn't be like, the thing is like with people like Candace Owens or even Alex Jones. I think it's Sam Cedar off the Majority Report has said this before, which is where I'm getting it from, which is that like if Alex Jones wasn't the creation of the CIA, they probably would create someone like Alex Jones in a lot of ways. Bots can be useful for moderation, correct? Holy Joey on Twitter. Not only would bots be good for moderation, maybe I need to like spam the Discord more. Maybe I should do that right now too. There's certain things with bots, or even when when I want to raid someone or do good things and want to promote their content. Oh, I can't grab my link. I don't know. There's like little things that I could do better for sure, but whatever. I don't always remember to do it because I'm busy during the day. But join the Discord. It that's a way of reaching me as well. The idea is talk radio ruined everything. Talk radio did ruin a lot of shit, especially with Rush Limbaugh. Or even like, you know what show like I think did a lot of damage that doesn't get a lot of credit for doing a lot of damage is that the UFO one. I can't remember what it is with Greg Norrie or whatever it was. Why can't I remember the name of that? It would all be on like people with like weird, visited by aliens and weird conspiracy theories, and they would put it out there like constantly.
If we bully Jody on Twitter, then maybe he'll finally get a Discord bot.
Yes, thank you, Eventually. I'll probably have one out before Friday. I got a lot of time tomorrow. I should be able to do something. So long as the kids don't tell me. Wow. All right, let's finish this video.
In Prager U. What they said just made sense and offered me a better way to live. Antifa and the radical left did not care about building a better society. They cared about control.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Like, the connections here don't make sense. Like, nothing you've said about Antifa had anything to do with control. It all had to do with, like, fighting fascists. But
you thought about being a leftist when you thought there was money in it. Then you realize you could be a right-wing grifter.
I mean, a lot of anti-fascists are, like, left-wing communists, which they don't want. They want distributed control, not control in the hands of like rich oligarchs, which is what you're now simping for. So
yeah, exactly.
They could only offer me more anger, bitterness, and unhappiness.
I don't know, I'm pretty happy. Sometimes, and I have feelings of joy when I disrupt fascists,
Yeah, I would call myself like happily bitter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still mad that that fascist exists over there, but like when you're disrupting them, it can be a moment of joy. Like, look, I've done something. I want to help you regarding bots. Never. This is going to be an AI-free Discord. Twitch. That reminds me. I have to point out because it's amazing. Some police in Ontario are suing the government over the COVID restrictions that they don't want to enforce. And the lawyer that's representing them went on to Rebel News. And basically, the only reason I remember who this person was, because he admitted, his name's Rocco Giolotti. He said that Bill Gates was building Human 2.0 and was going to microchip all of us and like merge us with the AI. And and that's the person representing the police.
Hoyle, thank you. I hope you have a good night, and I really hope you have a lot of time and unlearn some of the things that you think are true right now.
I think, like, I don't know what's the opposite of taking a red pill. What's the opposite of taking a red pill? Blue pill?
I don't think the pill system works. No more, no determinism, no pill determinism.
Antifa. But we can recruit them to become a card-carrying member of Antifa, though, right? That's how it works.
No, I have to talk to the council about that first.
So you didn't join Antifa just for the control? Why didn't you join for the control?
I always expected to keep my past a secret, But as I saw cities around the country struggling against the rise of left-wing political violence, while left-wing and even liberal
Honestly, you
politicians
should have
said
kept it a
nothing,
secret.
I knew I had to speak up. If people like me, who know what is really behind Antifa, don't, the left will obliterate what it means to be a free American. So here I am. And here's my message. Young people don't drift to the left because they believe the left is superior.
Okay.
Most do because they have never been exposed to anything else.
The left is not the dominant culture in America.
Yeah.
Like, why? I mean, most people have to talk about moving left because they were raised in like very conservative environments and somehow managed to get out of it. Conservatism is the dominant culture. Like, they want to talk about just because, like, you know, what we were playing the new Apex and they have a Stop Asian Hate thing, and they think that that is like the left taking over when it's like that's just, you know, liberals co-opting leftism, which is like,
Yeah.
I would prefer them co-opting that than not, I guess. But it's like that doesn't mean that the left has taken over, you know?
Yeah, it's just I wish communism was all everybody had ever been exposed to.
Like, what environment did he grow up in such that it was like all he got exposed to was like left-wing communism?
Leftism has become what Andrew Breitbart once described as the default position.
Ma'am?
I wish. Wouldn't life be better if it was default position?
Ma'am, we are quoting Breitbart today?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's the quoting of Andrew Breitbart, but there's the quote itself is just complete bullshit as well. Default
Yeah,
position.
I just
Of course they're quoting Breitbart. Of course they are.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
Position. The American idea is more powerful than you think. It turned me around. It can turn others around too. The core of that idea,
Battlefield of ideas.
call it the American dream, is
Oh,
not about
God.
money. It's about freedom.
I hate this.
I mean, like, that's why he has
Side
to say
note.
that Antifa is about control, right? Because then the opposite of control would be freedom. What's the side note?
Side note was about that Breitbart quote. Was it? I think it was Proudhon who said, like, who was like asked about his ideal society and said, my ideal society is one where I would be executed as a reactionary. Because he was like an early anarchist.
Yeah. So, like,
And
the
like
hope is, like,
the thing is
society-
nowadays anarchists are like, yeah, this dude was like, he wanted banks, he wanted like
Yeah. So he got his dream.
So we gotta build that society. We gotta build a society where we are being executed as reactionaries.
But of course, like, this bullshit is being sold by the corporate entities. Like, isn't Prager U like funded by gas companies and shit like that, right? So it's like this idea of like the American dream, and the American dream is freedom, and it's like, no, what this video is promoting is not freedom; it's oligarchic control. Like, if anything, there's way more freedom in socialism and like those more left-leaning movements, because it takes away the control from the rich few and distributes that control amongst society, you know?
Yeah.
That, ultimately, is the reason Antifa has to resort to violence. Because if conservatives are allowed to speak freely, they will peacefully convert more and more of Antifa supporters towards the values of liberty. And then Antifa will vanish like the nightmare it is.
So freedom is when one side is suppressed.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess he's arguing for the battle of ideas. And like, there's some like weird way in which he's there's true in the sense that like allowing fascists to have a platform spreads like fascist bullshit, you know? But it's like that has nothing to do with the ideas themselves being good, right? I mean, there's a reason why leftist ideas spread too in a world with a marketplace of ideas, right? I I just think there's a weird thing. It's like he's just assuming that if we allow a complete open marketplace of ideas, that somehow the conservative ones are going to float to the top. And like, let's be clear, I spend my entire podcast and this stream listening to right wing views. I almost never play like left wing material. That should probably change in the future. We're going to try to do like more pro content in like constructing good leftism in some respect, whatever that happens to be. But like
someday I want to do some value form theory.
Yeah. But in this sense, it's like I'm nothing but bathing myself in conservative ideas, and I have yet been convinced. It has yet worked. But I mean, but mostly it's because they do shit like this. Like rarely do you ever get like coherent arguments made by conservatives. It's all like appeals to like Antifa is angry. Okay. Like it almost never is an actual argument.
And also that freedom is an object which must be defended at all costs. It's not an idea, it's not a thing that you strive towards.
This is
not, you know, I really like that song Freedom is a Verb by Daniel Kahn and the Painted Bird.
It's like, not only that, like one of the things that I like about Marxism is Marx promoted freedom. You know? It's not the same kind of freedom that I think they want.
Also, sorry. Hoyle, yeah, Nick used to be an MRA and he's still like in the process of unlearning a lot of shit. It's kind of proof that you can be someday better.
Yep. I mean, I've believed wrong things in my life as well. It happens. No shame in that.
Yeah.
I'm also like, which is why I don't mind you existing in the chat. Where we draw the line is where it gets offensive in terms of targeting people in groups. You know, that's where we would stop. Unlearning, that sounds familiar. But what's wrong with unlearning? I've had to unlearn.
You learn and you unlearn.
Yeah. I mean, unlearning, the word itself sounds kind of fucking silly. I'll agree with that. It's not like I've like removed the ideas from my brain. I still remember those ideas. I would say that I've now learned that they were bad ideas. You know.
Yeah.
It's not like they've scraped those part of my neurons out of my skull. I think this is probably the end.
I'm Gabriel Nadales, the student rights advocate for the Leadership Institute, and also of Behind the Black Mask, my time as an Antifa activist for Prager University.
Behind the Black Mask is the name of this fucking book.
Okay. Can we Google him now?
Yeah.
See if we can learn anything about what he was supposed to be doing.
Gabriel Nadales. What do we got? Oh, he's got a Wikipedia. That's fun. Gabriel Nadales.
He's an activist.
Conservative activist. Yeah, he's part of the Leadership Institute, which I read while you were in the washroom. They're Mike Pence and like Mitch McConnell were members of the Leadership Institute. If that will tell you anything about what it is.
When the fuck did he claim to be Antifa if he was already a member of a libertarian organization in 2014?
Okay, let me read this. Gabriel Nadales is a conservative activist who is formerly part of Antifa movement. He is currently the student rights advocate for the conservative nonprofit. He's also currently enrolled at okay. In 2016, the Network of Enlightened Women named him Gentleman of the Year. Network of Enlightened Women. What the fuck is this? Okay, 1 second. Brief digression. The Network of Enlightened Women is an organization for culturally conservative women. Okay. All right. And so they named him Gentleman of the Year. There's so much going on in just that. Jesus Christ. In 2014, while Nadales was a member of the libertarian organization Young Americans for Liberty. Okay. So in 2016, he's under 30. I mean, how young was he when he was quote unquote Antifa member? If anything, it would have been like his early 20s, probably, if we're talking a quick turnover into conservatism. I have some doubts. I have some doubts about his past.
Yeah. He's 27, so he joined. Or can you go up?
Do you want me
He
to
was born 94, and he joined the libertarian thing in 2014 while he was on campus. So he was somehow Antifa
at 20?
for that. Like, what anti-fascist organizations were going on, anti-fascist actions were going on in like 2012, 2013?
I mean, there still was, especially
Like,
fighting.
there would have been
like,
anti-racist organizations.
No, there was
but, like,
anti-fascists going after like Milo Yiannopoulos and stuff like that. That was definitely
early?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that was later.
No, because I remember looking at that stuff. 2012, that was back when I was doing my honors thesis, which was on similar like topics on political conservatism and stuff like this, and I remember that being a big issue. Like, it was a slow build up, but you had anti. I mean, like, but you also had like actions at like a lot of the at least like black bloc tactics and stuff like this. It wasn't specifically Antifa then, or like people weren't referring to themselves as Antifa like specifically as the main organizing principle at like the World Trade Organization events like stuff, like at the G20 in Toronto and stuff like that. Like, you had black bloc tactics, but they weren't necessarily organizing under like sort of like Antifa.
Yeah.
But then like it was
Like,
definitely around the sometime between 2010 and 2016 it was starting to build up. I remember that.
yeah, but like, I just mean for him to be claiming like to have been sort of an active quote unquote member or whatever. Like, I don't think those timelines quite work out the way he thinks they do, or the way he pretends they do.
Here we go. As a
Does
young,
he say when?
No, that's what I'm going to read. As a young Mexican immigrant, Gabriel Nadales grew up feeling alienated and distant from the American dream that brought his parents to this country, seeking a better life for themselves and their family. In high school, he was attracted to a left-wing ideology and soon found himself caught up in the anarchist subculture, attending punk rock concerts, dressing up in garish outfits, and making t-shirts, flags, and zines to fund his activism. He learned about anarchist history and got involved in direct actions, including destructive acts of mayhem. Above all, he was angry at cops, angry at Wall Street, angry at corporations that despoiled the environment, angry at America itself. So high school? High school, and it keeps on referring to anarchist, not Antifa. It was only after being exposed to works by classical liberal economists such as Milton Friedman and Thomas Sowell that Nadales began to reconsider his assumptions about capitalism in American society. Eventually, he left Antifa and became a conservative activist, advising youth groups on campuses around the country on how to deal with left-wing students, radical faculty, and openly hostile administrators. So my guess is he was into punk culture in high school, and therefore he's now referring it to as being a member of Antifa. I don't know.
So,
yeah, no, my guess is a lot of this is full of shit. Like, how much actual like activism did he do, or was he just like? Because like, I used to be an angry punk, but I wouldn't characterize what I did when I was an angry punk playing music in the angry punk scene of my youth in Cambridge, Ontario. I didn't think that was doing Antifa activism. Like, I still had like a critique of capitalism, but it was very like base. It was just like, don't you hate the system, man? You know, because I was 17 or 18. Like, I don't know. This stuff like comes. It doesn't necessarily like come all at once. You know. I had a hint of what it could be, but I wasn't there yet. You know.
Hello, my rebels. Hello, my rebels. I'm a good boy. I'm a weirdo.